Hello everyone and welcome to another Use Tech Hustle video. In this one we're looking at something a bit different. Rather than being computer parts, this is going to be something related to my other hobby, which if you may have guessed is DJing. Now it is just a hobby, I don't play out or anything like that, so don't get me wrong, I'm not exactly professional, but it's something I've dabbled with for most of my life and I really do enjoy. And in this one we're going to be taking a look at a piece of hardware I picked up for cheap to see if we can bring it up to standard and well, get it working. So this all came about due to just generally searching eBay as I normally do, and I stumbled across this particular bargain. Obviously being unable to say no to a good deal, I could see that the unit was something that I could certainly make use of. My controller that I had at the time was quite an old one. It was £20 buying it now plus postage, and it was listed as faulty, saying that the right channel was a bit dodgy and would occasionally stick, whatever that meant. So obviously I ordered it up. I can't say no to a good deal, with the hope of that maybe it wasn't as bad as all that. Sometimes these things can only need cleaning, but well, you'll see what happened when it arrived. Okay, it's arrived. Looks in quite good shape, I suppose. It's clearly been used, but for the price, I don't think I can really complain. I suppose the first thing for me to do is to plug it in and see if I can replicate the issue of the volume fader, which apparently doesn't work unless you hold it down. So I will undo this and replace it with this. And I've got Serato all set up, so I'll see what's going on with this. Hopefully it's not too bad, and even if it is, maybe I can replace that fader as well. As you can see, it's a little bit bent. I mean, that's not really here or there. These things aren't exactly bulletproof, so that's not really a problem. But let's take a look and see well, what the beef is. Ooh, it's like Christmas. Okay, I've got the software up and running. I've got a couple of tunes loaded. This is all in, so I suppose let's just see what happens. Okay, yeah. I'm not sure if you can pick that up from there, but very intermittent. Okay, looks like if you push it to the left, it does work. Okay, well we can definitely confirm the fault. Now it's a case of whether or not we can get that fader off and replace it. With a bit of luck, it's still available, and this is still going to be doable. And I've got myself a bargain for £20, I think. Okay, so we now have the main board out. Looks like a fairly simple fader, but it does look quite grim in there. But I think the only thing I'm interested in at the moment is the actual part number. Try and get this to focus. So now we have that. We can see if that's easily available. But replacing it looks fairly simple. Not that I'm really much of a soldering guy, but it just looks like a few connections to there and these four at the bottom here. So we should hopefully be able to do something about that. But let's see if we can get a hold of this fader first. Have a look. Maybe we can even try cleaning it up in the meantime as well. So after some cleaning, I did try it again and it made absolutely no difference at all. So it was on with the Google search. The part number on the side of the fader found absolutely nothing, so I just tried some more generic searches, and eventually I was able to find a few places that listed the item, but nobody had them in stock. So with that in mind, I ended up emailing Numark direct and got an email back a couple of days later, and it said to give them a call because they had them in stock. I did, and it turns out the two that they had in stock were actually already assigned to repairs. Apparently they use that particular fader model for quite a few different things, so they said they put it on back order and that could take anywhere from sort of 6 to 8 weeks. Being a slightly impatient guy and thinking that this part may never come, I decided to do some sleuthing myself and found what I thought would be an applicable part on eBay. The spec and the size looked exactly the same. All of the measurements for the feet and connections were absolutely fine, so I gave it a whirl, and well, a few days later it arrived. Okay guys, this is all new to me. This is just a cheap soldering iron I picked up from Amazon, although I have messed around with one of these quite a while ago, just literally dicking around with an old mixer board. This is kind of new to me, so this could all go horribly wrong from this point onwards. But for now, I'm going to try and remove the old fader here. We've got a new one that's arrived, so I want to try and get that replaced. But like I said, this is all kind of new to me. I'm certainly not a professional at this, so this really could go wrong very quickly. But I'm going to give it a go. No harm if I break it. It's not too much of a loss. From what I can see, there's just going to be a couple of pads here and here to get rid of. So I'll start with the big one first and see how that goes. Okay, there has been a slight change of plan. I quickly realised, having started the desoldering, that although I could do these ones with relative ease, I simply couldn't see the smaller ones very well. The main reason being I do have an eye condition called keratoconus, which can make things a bit tricky, certainly at focusing on things, and these, when it came down to it, I just couldn't see them very well. That, together with the fact that I've never done that kind of thing before, it just wasn't worth me carrying on. I didn't want to potentially waste this whole unit for the sake of my terrible eyesight and lack of skill. So I've lent on my brother, who is absolutely brilliant at this kind of soldering thing. He's got much more of an interest in that side of it than me, and as you can see, he's done a fantastic job of resoldering these in. Really tidy little solder joints here, and I've just placed the board roughly back in. It's not screwed in or anything. I've just wired it all back up again, and let's plug it in and see if this thing works. Okay, well that's a good sign, everything lights up. I've just unplugged the Pioneer unit and popped that one in. That's a good thing. I'm going to need the mixer on. Just load up Serato now. Okay, pop that there. And let's have a look. Okay, that's a good sign. The left channel still works. Now for the right one. Perfect. Fantastic. So as we can see, that's, although it's a bit of a random fader from some frantic googling, it does seem to work perfectly. That's really, really good. So I think now, before I celebrate too much, I'll pop the rest of it together, pop the knobs back on, and give this thing a proper spin. But for now, that looks like it's working perfectly. Thank you, bro. Here it is, guys, the final result. It's all put back together, looking very, very good, and more importantly working really well. So I've just loaded up with my virtual DJ software. Let me just pop a couple of random tunes in here. Oops, I hope if I turn the output on. There we go. So yeah, as we can see, pull it down a bit, it's all working absolutely perfectly. Really, really chuffed with it. It's actually a pretty good unit as well, with a nice long pitch fader. Anyway, that's for me to play with. But yeah, having tested it last night fully, and again this morning, it all works really, really well. I'm really chuffed with that new fader. I'm not too sure whether I'm going to end up keeping this unit. It does seem to do everything I want. It would be nice if I had some gain controls, but it's not really a big issue, I suppose. I can reassign something else to do that. However, my alternative is the other new one I've picked up in the meantime, which is the Pioneer unit, which is top notch. I got that again for an absolute steal of a price, but it's perfectly fine. It wasn't sold as faulty or anything, so that doesn't need any work. So I could either flip that or flip this, one or the other. I think there's probably more money in the Pioneer one, and well, I don't know, we'll see how that goes. But for now, there it is, all working absolutely brilliantly. I hope this video has been quite entertaining. I know it's quite different from my usual stuff, but this is all part of the hustle and it's what I like to do in my spare time. If you have enjoyed it, do drop a like rating, I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see something like this again with something else, then let me know in the comments that you've enjoyed it. And of course, if you want to see more from me, then hit subscribe and all that other good stuff. Other than that, thanks very much for watching, guys. Enjoy.